If you want to know basically everything you possibly could know about the Ford Maverick and get Ford news, you're at the right place. I'm Johnny from Johnny's Car Care and Reviews, and tonight we're going to be talking all about the Ford Maverick. I've got some really great news, and you could even say I've got incredible news. Incredibly good and some incredibly bad news. So we're going to be covering that. Of course, we'll also cover some Ford news, everything from the F-150 Lightning to a bit of everything that's been going on at Ford in the last week. But some of this is going to tie in to dealer allotments. So that's been an issue all the way back to, all of 2021. So we're going to be covering all that tonight and more. So watch to the very end because I will probably keep some of the best stuff for the end of the video. But first, let's talk about the good. Really call this the good, the bad, and the ugly. Let's talk about some good. First of all, with something that tastes good, I wish you all, Prost. I wish you all a very good evening. I get to have this beverage. It's almost my birthday, so have a nice little beverage tonight. Anyways, I'm hanging out with you all tonight, so I'm allowed. I'm not drinking alone. Adult juice, nothing alcoholic, obviously, of course. So Maverick news. Promise I'd cut the long intro. This is really cool. So for those of you that have seen a 3-month delay, or you're worried you're gonna get a 3-month delay, I'm gonna walk you through this. So I've noticed from people's comments, some of the people that got pushed back 3 months have now been, which would put them to May. In some circumstances, well, they're often seeing things getting pulled back a month, and now they're looking at mid-April. Now I can tell you that one particular Maverick I'm watching in the system, it was originally supposed to be produced and it got pushed back 3 months, and now it's actually scaled back 2 months. So it should be getting arriving in about mid-March. And what is that build? Well, that's an XLT EcoBoost with 4K towing. So really straight up regular build, but it has 4K. 4K requires some extra microchips, so it got pushed aside. So for any of you that do get pushed aside, 3 months, do know that often at Ford, things will get pushed further back because they figure, well, if things don't go very well, that's the time frame we need. And then from there, they do everything they can to get it done in not just in time, before, because they always prefer to give, good news than bad news. So that's that. Now I'm going to walk you through the entire build process, because as you watch your build, as you track your Maverick, Lightning, whatever it may be, this is all going to be pertinent information. What do the different terms mean? So let's walk through, learn all about these different terms, and quickly let's just wrap up about delays. This is one that got delayed back 3 months. Then as they saw that they would have microchips for it, the date moved up by 2 months, so mid-March instead of mid-May. And for those of you that are seeing little delays, well, delays when you get pushed back by a week, often enough you will see then maybe getting pushed back another week, and then maybe again you'll see it again. With my Broncos, I saw that. I kept getting pushed back by a week, and then oddly enough, I got a 3-week delay, and then everything ended up settling only about 8 days from when they're originally saying, when it said the week of, for example, the week of the 3rd, well, ended up getting built about the 8th in one instance. So that's a good example. By the way, your window sticker does have a little date on it. That's your MSRP window sticker. It's got a little date on the bottom. That date, I do strongly believe, is related to the last time that they, kind of updated it before printing it off. Your actual kind of finished termination day is going to be on the little door sill. There's a date on that. It gives you the month and the year. So usually those are pretty close. Often enough, sometimes if you're started getting built at the end of the month, well, then you'll be, for example, on this one, my last Bronco, it said November on the November on the door, December on the door sill, but November on the window sticker, because the window sticker was updated right before it went into production. So sorry for that mix up. Let's now talk about important terms when you're tracking your Maverick. So when you're tracking your Maverick, let's look at this one as a prime example of really everything you need to know. So June 10th, this Maverick 2021 got ordered up. So when it gets ordered and it gets ordered properly, it says unscheduled clean. Clean means it's good, and that's under the title of in order processing. So the next few updates, it'll stay in order processing for a while. So then October 14th, there's another update, and it then said, also under the category of in order processing, scheduled to week of January 3rd. Scheduled to week of does not mean it's going to get built January 3rd. It means back the 14th of August, they figured they could build this the week of the 3rd of January 2022. Then the next update, December 10th. Well, then they knew that scheduled to the day of January 3rd. So clearly no microchip issues quite yet occurring. They figured they'd build that right on the 3rd. Now, the next overall general term that changes is it goes to in production. So in production means it's ready to go. They're just about. So in production, the next term sent to plant, and that was December 17th. So that means they've got the parts, they think they're ready to go, but what happened next? Well, in production, trim line. So trim line means you figure, hey, this thing's starting to move on the 3rd of January. Obviously, they were not building it from December 17th and then still building it the 3rd. Just means trim line, probably started a bit after December 17th. Trim line means it's really moving. And then on the 4th of January, produced. So still in production, overall title. Then it says the secondary, it's in secondary status, was produced. And that's all on January 4th. So that's, so far you think, hey, everything's great, it's done. No, it's not done. Because then, while it's still under the category of in production, secondary is that it's released to body company. And that was on the 14th of January. So 10 days went by from it being, under the category or term of produced to released to body company. And now what happened when it was released to body company? Well, from January 14th all the way to February 1st, it was at that body company, because then still under the main category of in production, or the main title, primary, in production, secondary, returned from body company. So returned from body company, everything is completely done. That was February 1st. Now, February 7th of this year, so just not that long ago, 9 days ago, we were looking at released. And the title, the primary title, finally changed. It said awaiting shipment. And secondary released. So you think everything is good, right? Well, at this point, you can still be delayed for a microchip issue. So you're not in the clear yet, because then we see on February 8th, the ETA is still between the 15th of March to the 21st of March. When it did get kicked back from May 14th to May 20th was when it was in the release to body company. So the vehicle was, ready to go. It was released to body company, but they thought that it would stay in that status until quite some time, because the ETA at delivery was looking at about the 14th to the 20th of May. With, we're up north, probably about 4 to 5 weeks of shipping time. And it actually, you don't give up hope when you get a longer date, because you can see it was playing as a mid-May delivery from all the way from January 14th to February 1st. Obviously, February 1st, they must have figured out how to get microchips into this, and the date then got changed. You got ETA, 2 months better, went to the 15th of March. But that's not all. When you're awaiting shipment, you can be awaiting shipment quite a while if, they just can't ship it for whatever reason. But thankfully, in this situation, the 8th, so 1 day later, February 8th, still with the same ETA, you get a ramp number. So for example, it can be ramp 54. But just because you have a ramp number doesn't mean you can't assume that this sweet day is right around the corner, 4 or 5 weeks away, because I've seen throughout 2021 vehicles waiting at, ramp, whatever it may be, at whatever factory, and it's just not moving because it's missing microchips. So don't call your insurance and book your delivery day. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's on its way. So what do you really need to see? Well, you need to see this thing set up in the tracker system as in transit, with ideally, once you actually see it move away from the factory, now you're in the clear. There only remains, once they drop it off at its final destination at their rail yard, it only requires the transport to come pick it up. But speaking of picking it up, good dealers, what do good dealers do? Well, good dealers that have orders that get canceled turn them into demos. So my local dealer has gotten to turn, a very great dealer has decided to turn their canceled reservation into a demo. So we're going to be talking all about, the bumps and how this thing handles, how it takes the bumps. As you can hear from this video right here, I want you to actually see what this thing sounds like when it's rolling at about 80 miles per hour, 125 kilometers per hour. We're going to talk about fuel economy and, is this really worth the wait? So you'll want to subscribe to not miss out, because that's going to be coming up real soon. And when it says in transit, when your primary status is in transit, your secondary status is shipped rail, now you're in business, it's moving, and just to give you, or at least it's ready to be moving, this is all very good. And we can kind of see the delay of how long it takes to show up now, 4 or 5 weeks, because on the 8th it says shipped rail car, it gives you a rail car number, but it actually stayed at the Hermosillo plant until the 9th. So several updates on the 8th. Then on the 9th, it actually updated to say it was in Nogales, AZ. And then also on the 9th, Nogales, SO. The 14th, just to give you a bit of an idea of how fast these things move, it made it to Illinois. So Gateway Yard, Illinois, the 14th. So just to recap, 5 days to go, 5-6 days to go from Nogales, AZ to Illinois. So for any of you that have had transport related questions, there you go. And not quite done, because then on the 15th, still in Illinois, and I don't have an update after the 15th. So a day or two at the Gateway Yard in Illinois. All the while, you're getting pretty much the same message. It's in transit. Secondary says arrived at junction point, then received at junction point, then again received at junction point, arrived at junction point. So it plays around in the system. But the good news is we can see if this shows up on March 15th. It got shipped out on the 8th. We're up in, we're close to the border, the American border, so you can see it's about 4 to 5 weeks. So if you're in the northern states, you can probably expect to be around there. If you're in southern states, well, you have a really good idea. It got to, how long did it take to get to Nogales, AZ? So I'm going to assume that's Arizona, and please correct me if I'm not getting the state, the state letters AZ. If that's incorrect, please correct me, but I do believe that's Arizona. My memory is not perfect right now, but that was February 9th. So I hope that all helps answer any questions or insecurities or worries that you might have in regards to shipping. I think, if you're down south, 2 to 3 weeks makes perfect sense. And heck, it can be even, if you're really down south, we can see it can be maybe as fast as a week. Of course, your dealer needs to get it. And at the train station, there's always a delay. Even if it takes, let's say 5 days to get to the southern United States. Well, that's by rail. So then at the rail station, it can be a day or two, or it can even be a week or two if the transport truck, if the company takes a while for it to become your turn, in line, we could say. Once it's your turn to get picked up, well, then it's going to go to the dealership, and the dealership obviously will probably need a day or two, maybe 3, to get it prepped, depending on what you want on your Maverick. So that covers that. Now let's get on to some more, I'd say, news that's a little bit more exciting. Actually, this concludes really everything you need to know about tracking your Ford. And, if you don't know how to track your Ford, I do have a video for that, so do look into that. And if you don't know how to protect the price on your Ford, I've got a price protection video you'll want to check out. So I'll try to have those in the description that you can just click on, or you can just look at the playlist, and those will definitely help make sure you get the right price and know what's going on with your Maverick. But we've talked in this video about transport, what to expect, and also what to expect and what to know about all those tracking terms. So I hope this has been very useful, because the good news, that's going to be in the next video. So I hope you follow this series. In the next episode, we're going to be talking all about the good news coming out of Ford. And of course, by the third video, we'll talk all about the ugly, the bad news. And we're going to debunk this, because there's a lot of bad news going around with Ford right now, and so much emphasis by journalists are being put on Ford. I think there's explanations for that. You've got the Bronco, you've got the Mach-E, you've got the F-150 Lightning, and you have the Maverick. The interest in these vehicles, well, just in orders, there's almost 1 million orders across these vehicles. The interest is in the millions. So obviously that's where the money is for journalists. So they're talking about it, and they're, forgetting to mention and being really unbiased and saying, hey, a VW Atlas has 1 to 2 years wait for it, depending on the dealership. RAV4 Prime from Toyota has 2 to 3 years of wait time, depending on the dealership. Are they mentioning that in these news stories about Ford? No, because we like headlines that punch you in the face and, just force you to look, read, go through the content and the advertisements. So we're going to be talking all about the good news. We'll cover the bad, but that's going to be an episode in the next upcoming episodes, because I have promised the community to work on having these videos just a little shorter and focus on only a few topics at a time. So thank you so much for watching. If you've gotten this far, please click on Finisher, because that helps me really judge how my content's going, helps me know what to do. So I do appreciate that you've been watching. Thank you so much. Please like and subscribe to not miss out on the upcoming videos. And until we see each other next, I wish you all more cars, meaning I hope you get your ordered vehicle soon, or at least a build date. And I do wish you, of course, more power. Take care. Have a good week.